Thank you, Tsunami. That's right. We're here with Virtus.pro and Entity. And this time around, we're going to see Kataomi actually get the facet where you go fast. I thought that one was pretty interesting when he chose the other one, the pushing talent. I was like, nobody goes that. And maybe he forgot to choose his facet on that last one. I don't know. But this time around, he's got the one that everybody else is going, that everyone's taking advantage of, the one where you're just zooming around on Spirit Breaker, where you charge in, you're able to charge right back out because you keep that movement speed. Other than that, anything interesting of note you see here, Avery?
I mean, they gave Entity their Chen, right? Which I think is a pretty big deal. They got it second phase too. And maybe this hero is going to fall a bit down in priority in terms of the hero individually being strong. But I think for Entity, this hero does exactly what they want to do every single game, which is give Watson a good start, play through no one in the mid game, and ball up with the ores. And to me, this is Fishman's best hero for the team. I mean, he'll take his others, you know, Disruptor, Undying, whatever. But this hero really serves the big function that Entity won out of their supports, which is make those cores as strong, as tanky, as high damage as possible when that mid game comes around and you're forcing those Roshans. And they have the Leshrac last pick to do it here. So yeah, this is a very scary mid game lineup from Entity in terms of when that ball gets going, you really need to be able to meet them head on with that 5-on-5. You're going to lose too much map control here. And at the same time, you have to deal with the Darkseer Spirit Breaker playing the lanes. So I really do feel like the pressure's on VP here to make the map work for them in a way where those fights get set up properly.
Already given up 3 bounty runes, not a great start, and some bold draft choices, as you said. I mean, giving up the Darkseer, probably one of the go-to talked about heroes when it comes to that first pick category. And Virtus.pro is willing to give it to Entity. They gave him the Chen, and we'll see whether or not FNG has his strategic genius on point to be able to counter this, or if they're going to flop. Because this is a tournament that they're coming into with not a ton of momentum, having not done so well at the TI qualifiers. So, you know, kind of looking at a team that might already be doubting their own capabilities and their own hold on the current meta.
I mean, good rule of thumb in Dota is if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else believes in you. Like, you're the last line of defense here because everybody in Dota is just waiting for your downfall, right? Every team here is praying these other teams play as weak as possible. They're just going to thrive. They're going to climb the ladder. It's a game of making your enemy play as bad as possible too, right? Dota's a game of mistakes. So if you don't have the confidence going in, if you're not confident in what you're doing and how you're playing right now, which we go back to that FNG interview, he really wasn't, right?
Yeah.
And I respect the honesty. I mean, sometimes you just have to man up and admit, hey, we're not in a good form right now. We need to find some momentum. But that is on Entity to take advantage of because, yeah, Dota is a game of mistakes. Your enemy's going to make more than you. If they're not confident they're going to be able to play as crisply, then could be in trouble.
And Tars almost made a mistake there, giving up first blood, but not quite. One of the Brambles did snag Watson, and Watson will gladly give a mistake right back and stumble into another one for a little extra damage. Interesting, took the Satyr Convert, so he's just full out, trying to burn out all of the mana early on in the laning phase, completely kill the offensive potential of the Primal Beast.
This thing still does around 100 mana burn, even with the change, like with the int buff, so... Yeah, I'm not surprised that we see it more on lane. It just auto wins you the lane, especially with the extra regen amp on top of it. Any sort of spell casting carry is going to benefit immensely. And then even in this mid game, give some extra mana to the Lesh if you go and fight around the runes, something like that. This is a nice lineup for it. I think we saw snaking going in a while back on Falcons as well. So seems like the go-to here if you just want to straight up win the lane and snowball.
Yeah.
The downside, I guess, is you don't get as powerful a mid game aura like the Alpha Wolf or something, but I mean, you can find one in the jungle anyway. It's not like it's removing all the creeps off the map.
You'd see Antares he was having to hide away in the trees, keep his clarity intact just to try and get some mana to be able to play out this lane. So he can give Notice a little something to work with. Also got the Lotus, so that'll help Notice quite a bit.
Early boots, try and maintain some gap here. He's surviving the lane. For me, the lanes aren't as important for VP here. It's more how you build momentum in this game, because is this Primal Dark Willow combo as strong as it used to be? Like, there's just no way.
It's much worse.
Right, so where are your little combinations going to come from, right? This Primal goes in, what's your damage follow? I mean, you're throwing out a Bramble, and then you're putting in this Sunray. But again, you're doing it into a bunch of heal here. You're going to have auras on Darkseer, auras on Chen, potential Bloodstone Lesh just healing up on his own. It's going to be a lot to go through in that minigame.
Get some good damage. Aid Watson managing to dodge some of those brambles. He got snagged by one of those. He was certainly going to die there. He may still get run down by Notice as Watson's going to try and loop around the trees, keep that healing salve up for as long as possible. And it looks like he's probably healed enough that he's good to go now.
Yeah, that's a rank 1 juke right there.
Yeah, it certainly was.
14k MMR tree circle.
Nobody could possibly take 3 left-hand turns like that.
So far, CS not looking too bad, and it's Pango really taking in this Lissarac matchup. Squad X just, I want to say handling no one. I don't think this is a Pango favored lane, and just pulling out a couple hundred extra net worth here ahead in the levels as well. Might give them a gank opportunity in mid if they can somehow connect the Dark Willow, but maybe the better option is if this Pango hits a fast 6 here, has TP and the mana up, you can look for the counterplay on the side lanes, because these side lanes are going to get contested here as the aggression heats up. Would love to get this Pangolier Rolling Thunder kill on the Ursa at some point here. You can find it off 6-minute rune rotation, especially with nighttime hitting in. Maybe these wards go down. Still continuing to harass no one. So you have this large region advantage on mid. Unfortunately, VP can't really use it with their supports, which again poses the question is, are you going to try and move this Pango elsewhere to try and take advantage of this at all? Or are you content just playing out the lanes here?
Do you think no one still has it? Where do you view him in the list of mid laners at this tournament? Because once upon a time, right, this is a guy who was in the top 3 of mids, right? He was actively contesting Sumail.
Top 3?
Yeah. What, like 2017 VP era where they were dominating?
He was
absolutely
top 2. Who the hell was the third?
All right, well, whatever, man.
no, wait, that's not a whatever. Who was the third? Who's the third?
Fine, it was Sumail and no one.
Yeah, who was the other guy?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Then don't say top 3. Give this man the respect he deserves, because he's a top 2 at that point.
No one. He is going to get ran down. Fortunately, Kataomi's nearby to be able to help him out with that charge to stop that Rolling Thunder a little bit. They're still going to go for the kill, though. A dive in by FNG, trying to kill his former teammate, but ends up killing himself instead and getting his Antari's in trouble, too. Stuck in the river, and no one will be there to clean that kill up. So heavy rotations coming out of the Entity side, but it certainly pays out, saving no one's life and getting them some kills.
I bring everybody to that fight, including even DM in the river by the end of it. VP did try and force that gank. I think the opportunity was there, but they did not execute that nearly well enough. Like, way too disjointed on the damage going in with the Rolling Thunder, and the charge through bumping him into the Edict damage. That Rolling Thunder did not prevent a lot there. Nice positioning from no one to kind of make that gank as hard as possible. And VP unable to secure the one lane that I think was going the best for them here. Gives a lot of momentum back towards Entity, which is exactly what they want here. Just a slow, methodical early game buildup into the Chen Darkseer ball. And all of a sudden, now this Darkseer, he's top of the net worth chart. DM having a monster early game here on a first pick Darkseer that has a lot to play with between a melee carry hero that loves Shell and Surge, and it's going to give you early Roshans. A Spirit Breaker that's going to pick up some of the extra farm slack around the map, give you the pick-up potential, great in the team fights. I mean, it's just a Darkseer dream game right here, and you're giving it to him.
Even the Facet, he's working with some pretty fast heroes, right? Last Track, Spirit Breaker, 2 most notable ones. That means he'll be getting a buffed up in movement speed thanks to the Facet choice of his, so. Fishman trying to get away with the Surge, but won't be able to outrun Squad X's Rolling Thunder. So they do finally pick up a kill on the Virtus.pro side, but it's a 5 position in exchange for a mid rotation. Not the best exchange in the world.
I mean, you could also argue it's a Fishman 5. So you're gonna get a couple of those every game by default. he might be a top 2-5 in the world at early deaths. I think it's fair to say.
He is really good at dying, yeah.
Or am I supposed to say top 3? I guess who's the?
I don't know if we want to start listing names on that list. All right, well, we'll wait till the play-in tournament gets a little bit deeper. You know, see who's performing well.
And something in my memory came back up in terms of an old 5 player who used to feed a lot, but
Oh, yeah?
it disappeared. I don't know.
You don't want to speak his name?
No, I would. I genuinely don't.
Oh.
I have no issue saying that. I just genuinely don't remember.
Man, you've really reached your old man phase.
Yeah,
Jesus.
What can you do?
Well, I will tell you, you're talking about 5 position that, you know, died a lot. I immediately thought of PPD.
Did he die a lot?
Maybe he didn't die so much, but he definitely he was one of those, like, real position 6 supports, you know?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
That was just like, that was the era back then, right?
I mean,
it was also
greedy teammates, right? I mean, we can make the argument here. Maybe Entity's just greedy.
That's
rank
true.
1 guy needs so much farm. It gives Fishman no choice. The necessary sacrifice. This will be that Panga move in the top. One I thought they were going to make earlier, because I think at this point it's just too late to the party, man. Like, the Ursa's not going to sit up here against the Primal. And every time you make one of these failed moves, Entity are going to start to push. So these are costly misses by Virtus.pro here, as you're trying to defend your towers and maintain that map control. They're going to poke the Lesh, but he has backup here. Oh, the wrong direction. Ooh, Fishman. What are you doing?
he's sending one of his cores
What was that?
into the shredder. Hurricane to back into the team. Now a vacuum back onto Notice is going to make it so he's stuck in this river situation. So they will get core trade-offs here. But it should have been a save on no one, using that Hurricane to push him over down into the river to sail him. Instead, he just sent him right back into the gutter there.
Straight back into the abyss. Says, no, you're you got ganked, no one. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. You got ganked.
Get back in there, champ.
What do you think the comms were in that? Yo, guys, I think I can survive. Just get me out. No, you're dead, man. You're gone. No way to escape there, brother.
Don't bring him to us, man. You were the one who got caught.
Or do you think he sent him back in? Yo, get him for me. Get him for me, bro. You're gonna kill them all here.
So no one. He should have been Hurricane down right there by the owl, but instead Fishman somehow clicked the entirely opposite direction.
Well, that's a morale degenerator right there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Fishman playing 6-man here for VP a little bit.
I mean, you're already talking about those greedy cores are costing him, you know.
Yeah, maybe it's a revenge. Revenge of the Fishman here.
I mean, I'm just saying, a high-pressure tournament like this, you know, brings out all the cracks in the foundation, right? All the grudges that have built up over the last 9 months of playing together.
That's why you should respect your supports. They control more than you think. Unfortunate little push there for Entity, though I do think that was a little aggressive, considering the tower was full HP. Like, I think it's okay to commit there, get a tower to half, back off. You're happy with that. You're going to force VP back to mid off a failed move top. But lingering there with this Lesh, he's not tanky enough the front line. You don't have auras up. You don't have the Mech Darkseer with you. This Chen is going early drum because you do have the Darkseer going for the Grease build. So your early sustain really isn't that great there. You have Ice Armor, but this is not a lineup that cares about early Ice Armor here. Overwhelming amount of magic damage. And another Rune Deny. Antares is on top of it. Second one of the game for him. At least denying some of the extra capability out from the Leshrac here. But still, it's Entity just farming the map, man, and the Darkseer continuing to power up. So it'll be a pretty fast pipe if nothing stops it. And that's the concerning point of the game for VP. Because once you have this mech pipe plus drum, maybe another half aura on the Chen, I mean, you're just forcing Roche. And if you're Virtus.pro, are you willing to contest into a triple aura timing here? You have Egg and Rolling Thunder to contest the Roche bit, which is good for you, but...
Yeah, I would say the one thing is that they did really double down on their team fight, and that is the one thing that while Dark Willow got heavily nerfed and the Bedlam aspect, there is still the Terrorize to protect the egg.
Sure.
And right, so they have this Primal Beast to force the action, grab somebody, they Supernova on top of that, and then they Terrorize and Rolling Thunder to protect that egg. That is just really good 5-on-5 management. The charge coming up from Kataomi to try and save no one, but it's not quite good enough. Supernova is out, but they can't quite, no, they can't protect it beautifully. Notes managed to get the grab onto Watson, stopping those fast swipes from the Bear. Still trying to chase him down, though. Bear finally gives up. Notice going to try and back out from the tower range, and he will be fine. So they actually just get an exchange of the mids with this big old clash happening around the tower, but nobody else dies.
What a weird. I thought that was going to go way better for VP. I feel like they got everything they wanted in that type of fight. Terrorize hit multiple heroes. You start off with your 2 big initiators. Egg goes off despite Ursa manning up for it, and they just walk it off. The early sustain here, the game that DM's having bails Entity out of that fight. And once more, the Slush Pango matchup, just not fun for Squadix right now. He took 500 damage from Edict there. He's rolling through and just getting shredded by the Diabolical, so really need to tank up on this Pango fast. He'll find a shield rune. That'll definitely help the next fight here for VP. And just Echo done as well. So now he's got that early tank ability. Next fight's going to be a lot different for him, and maybe you can take that extended skirmish on the backside of your Virtus.pro and clean that up.
Yeah, but you've already used that Supernova, so
you have to wait a little bit.
Next time is going to be, you know, a little ways away. And sometimes, especially with the way the Entity's farming right now and pushing out these side lanes, you know, maybe you might not get that same setup. You may not get that second opportunity. We'll see.
If you're VP, every time there's a down period like this, you need to make sure you get the lanes in as well as possible to combat this Chen Darkseer, and you want to protect your mid-tier 1. Mid-tier 1 for Radiant, most important objective right now on the map for sure for both teams. Entity would love to brute force this with their auras and the Leshrac, but it's a dangerous push. Your Darkseer Breaker, I don't think are strong enough to just aggressively dive a tower like that into Terrorize, into Egg. You don't really have any BKBs. If you had BKB Ursa lane, it's a very different story, because then you can commit in, the Egg goes off. Okay, you guarantee kill the Egg. You can make that sort of aggressive play, but right now, I think it's hard for Entity to push deep into VP's side of the map. And the risk reward's maybe just not worth it for them. You just finished your Battle Fury Ursa. He's going to start to eat up on your Ancients. And these auras are starting to come in, right? You're halfway to the big pipe on the Darkseer. Make some aggressive play here as an Entity. Could really set you back. We'll find. Quick little Phoenix kill. That's going to be juicy. Now your team fight's over.
Notice has already used his charge out, but looks like the slow from the uproar keeps him at bay from being able to collect a second kill. But they got the pick off. They have the numbers here.
Yeah, that's right.
Might as well do the fast Roshan. So now that time of the year talking about when it comes to the mech pipe on the Darkseer can combine with the second Roshan, second Aegis, right? And you'll just have like kind of a game-ending combination there.
I mean, he's going to have it here in 1,000 gold. So they're going to have it for the second half of this first Aegis.
Yeah.
See if they push towers with it. I think there is a window. You definitely want to take tier 1 mid. You want to get the fight for tier 1 mid here 100% with this Aegis if you're Entity. It's just a question of, I mean, probably it's tier 1 bottom, but you're probably getting that through attrition on the map. To me, can you get more with this Aegis? Can you actually take an aggressive part of the map away from VP? Right now, you're giving up your tier 1 mid. This is, I guess, power of the shield rune right now, but not a tower I think Entity wanted to lose.
Yeah, probably some of the potential of the Chaos Knight being missing. Kiritich did just get his Orchid delivered, so he is very much a big threat to pick off on the Leshrac or the Darkseer.
He's strong right now. Very strong. You have to respect what this hero can do in the fights, even if you have some answers to him. Pipe done for Notice as well, so yeah, you're ready to 5-man here if you're VP.
Trying to go for the kill on it, no one. Antares can lend the extra damage needed with the Bedlam to finish him off, and that'll be the Aegis taken for free.
You're gonna commit.
Or more. They're gonna try and kill him off of this Orchid plus Phantasm, and they have the Terrorize to protect him. Anybody in Entity gets close, they can throw it out, and there it is. Gets the Spirit Breaker right as he tries to charge in. Rolling Thunder is gonna bump him on his way out. DM tries to get him to surge away, and that will be enough, but Virtus.pro noticing that they can try and do a little bit more here with the Supernova still up, fighting around the tier 2 tower. Gets a stun off the Curse Crown underneath the Supernova. That'll kill him as well. 2 cores down on the side of Entity, and Virtus.pro managed to make their team fight surmount the advantage of an extra life.
Pipe got there first for VP, and they made the most of it. Arrives on the backside for DM, but all it does is save your Spirit Breaker and forsake him in the middle of that entire exchange. Entity getting caught out on the map, not respecting the 5-man teamfight capability just based off the spell power alone. Like, this is a really terrifying lineup to just get stuck in all-day AoE control. Until the Ursa is able to man up later on with that Blink BKB, that teamfight looks difficult, honestly. You have sustain, but there's nobody really dealing damage back. And this Pango's about to have an Ags. You got another very nice power rune here. You don't have a Yules. You don't have any sort of dispel for this Pango here to get rid of the buffs of these extra runes. So SquadX is just firing on all cylinders right now.
Seems like a timing lineup that's being out-timed a little bit, right? Virtus.pro just hitting this window before you actually get all the full combination of Entity. Recognizing that just sheerly through spells, they can still win team fights?
I think it's the power of Chaos Knight, honestly. I mean, that's why we see this hero so much right now. And why I'm always surprised to see this hero go through second phase, even if in theory you have stat answers to him. This is just going to be a pickup. I'm surprised they're keeping down here. This is...
Yeah, FNG's dead as well. He dove in for that one. So this is getting a little awkward, but at least he get a Leshrac kill for it.
I mean, Envy were making their way down here. If they'd gone there a bit faster, it could have been a solid fight for them because they still want this tier 1.
Yeah, Kiritich doesn't want any of this smoke, and he almost got caught on it, too.
They saw him there.
Yeah, they had a ward on a high ground. That's why they attempted to go for the vacuum for the low ground, but DM just a little bit too slow there.
I feel like they were hesitating.
Yeah.
Do we actually want to go on this EK right now? But well, they eventually got the tier 1, which is really what Entity wanted here. The game does slow down a little bit for VP on that exchange, even if they get the Lesh. I think Entity are happy with the map control this is going to give them, but did not get anything out of that first Aegis. Not the most important one here. Still one they would have liked to have gone better, and another quick Fishman kill.
Yeah, Primal Beast getting...
brought his creeps in too.
Yeah, that's some extra gold. Thank you, Fishman.
That's a lot of gold. A lot of time to get those back up.
Free gold, free experience, more time for the Chen that he's going to have to spend building his army. Those little slip-ups can cost you when... I mean, if you're talking about such a timing-focused lineup, what happens if an Entity just, you know, they get this, let's say they get second Aegis, they get pipe and all this stuff, and then they just don't get anything done with it.
I think they can go late. I mean, it's still a lineup that can scale pretty hard with this Ursa going in the fight. Especially if you can bring down the Primal or the Phoenix at a start of a fight, really opens up your ability to commit. I don't think you're too afraid of going late game here on either team, really. It's just about the Roshans and the teamfight execution. I mean, what can you do, man?
He just came back. He just came back.
What can you do?
You don't have to do that for an Ursa either. Ursa has Enrage.
Look, the man likes to die sometimes, you know?
It's a fish out of water.
It's his play style. You can't argue with a man in his play style.
I absolutely can. 7-7, 21 minutes in. An attempted kill, an 8th attempt for Virtus.pro. That will net them an 8th success. Oh, Eddie Yules catching no one here, trying to set up a Bramble, misses that. And now trying to make a run for it. He's going to need the help of SquadX to be able to get out of here alive. SquadX will oblige, not that he's going to kill the Leshrac.
Yeah, you got to remember, this type of Pango buildup nowadays is tankier but less damage.
Yeah.
So if you have the capability to ignore him in a fight, I feel like it's almost the better route to go. Particularly if you have some fast heroes that can just dodge the Rolling Thunder. He's not that much of a threat until way later on. 4th or 5th item, sure. I mean, late game Pango's always going to do late game Pango things, but...
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, when he gets to the point where he's got the Aghanim Scepter and is actually doing things with his shield crash outside of building up a big old shield, then...
Talents make a big difference too on this hero. Though the talents did get nerfed a little bit. I mean, they're still what make this kind of build-up work. He'll find FNG again. He'll get a shard for his untimely demise, however.
Actually just makes that kill more valuable. SquadX gets the Invis rune. He'll be vacuumed back into a wall. They have a sentry for it too. There is a nice terrorize to be able to buy a bit of space for SquadX to get out of that sentry range. And a charge came through that actually hit the Spirit Breaker as he would have the charge. They still have the vision though, and SquadX has to shield crash up. Kataomi is going to be in a bit. Looks like Watson's going to try and back out a little bit. Okay, he sees Primal Beast is maybe free. The Chaos Knight is backing away. The Chaos Knight is retreating. The fight has to be free. Virtus.pro just losing too many heroes too early on, and no one with the Bloodstone is willing to just charge into that Chaos Knight with the extra bit of life steal. TP away. Kiritich isn't going to make it. Oh, no.
Did Pango just die to cleave?
Yeah, I think so.
He just jumped in and got massacred off the stacks from the Ursa, dude. That looked absolutely hilarious, but not for Virtus.pro as Watson tears them apart here. And now that BKB has just completed off that fight. I mean, that is the fight Entity needed. And this is the mid game where their lineup is, in my opinion, strongest relative to VPs. Like, you had the early spell power in this game. You had CK giving you numbers advantages in the fight. But when this Ursa's just running you down, when he's in the old form, you don't have stuns that can control him, and you're getting chased down in these scenarios, man, he does some work, and he does it fast. Really got the stacks built up on Squadix earlier here, and then, yeah, great pulverize, but your supports are dead. There's no Bedlam here. There's no egg here to play around, and we're going to see Pango rolling. He just had no HP, man. He got torn up on the backside.
And he didn't even save Kiritich off of doing that.
I thought it was the cleave, but he was just getting beat up on the back of that fight, so didn't even have a chance to get cleaved. And now Entity, they're going to start to play aggressive.
Oh, this is looking terrible now. Spirit Breaker bumps him back into the split earth with the wall guaranteeing the kill. Chaos Knight could go nowhere. They're falling apart now. This is Entity's game to take over.
I mean, they know what their window is. It's this Ursa BKB. They don't even need the Aegis here.
Yeah.
And they're going to have a second BKB on this Leshrac very soon. They got to the second aura item on the Chen as well with the Vlads. So now you have Greaves, Pipe, Vlad, Drum behind two BKB core frontliners with a lot of sustain and a lot of survivability, and this Breaker is just going to push the side lanes or set up the catch. This is the very difficult part of the game for VP to get through right now. They need to not bleed too many kills, try and find some pressure of their own. They're going to make a move on Katayomi, but this is not really a play, and you need to be concerned that you're going to get chased on the backside here. You have Surge heroes, you have Charge heroes.
Rolling Thunder does go off, and the Phoenix is TPing away. So they'll both escape. And that's actually maybe the best case scenario for Virtus.pro, is that they brought a bunch of Entity heroes to a corner of the map. So you could see they're already trying to push out the other lanes.
I mean, right now, if nothing bad happens for you, you're happy as VP. I mean, this Roche already is spawned, though, so again poses a question of at which point in this game are you confident enough to contest that objective? Because I think at some point you do if you're Virtus.pro. I don't think you're winning this game if you give up 3-4 Roshans to a Descendity lineup. I guess there's a world where you go ultra late and it maybe doesn't matter, but I mean, let's be realistic, right? That type of idea to win a Dota game in the modern age it's outdated. So
yeah,
at some point you have to pick your battle here, and it does not look like it's going to be the second Roshan. So you're going to the third. It's going to open up a high ground window for Entity. They really want to push it here, and I don't know why you wouldn't. You have 4 auras, double BKB, all the sustain in the world, and you can force the issue with the Lesh and the Ursa sieging the high ground, especially with Cheese on the Leshrac. Do you have the capability to burst him before he gets that off? Basically 2 Aegises here.
Yeah.
That is a lot of HP to fight through for a lineup that's mostly flat spell damage. I mean, a DD on the Pango definitely helps, but I feel like CK is really your only scaling power here.
Yeah, particularly when the BKBs are still such long duration. And I feel like they don't have a way to really, like, bait the BKBs out of Entity.
No, there's no real poke here.
Yeah, like the Ursa's only going to pop his BKB when the Supernova goes down, is what I assume is going to happen. And then it's up to the Primal Beast to try and stop that Ursa with his Pulverize. That's really your only option, to keep the egg alive. And if you don't keep the egg alive, then I think you're just screwed. Because you kind of need that extra bit of disable and reset time during this BKB window.
You do have double Yules, which I guess is a disengage. Maybe there's something there. I'm going with a Primal or Pango, make the Ursa jump in, Yules him disengaged, draw the fight deeper from Entity right, bait them into a situation where they commit a little too far and that egg goes off. That's probably the ideal, especially if Entity are going to force the high ground here. That high ground defense can be easier for you to play. Entity are going to have to go into you. You can chip them down a bit with some random brambles and whatever. But your split push is pretty minimal here. That's the downside. You can prepare for this high ground fight, but if you come back, there's no real pressure on the map. So Entity, they can just make these cross-map smokes like this. And there's nothing really annoying them. In fact, the Chen creeps are cutting the wave top, so there's literally 0 map pressure going out right now. You're just losing all the camps, and you're probably going to lose a Phoenix here.
Yeah, there's too many heroes to Yules them all. for FNG. Even as Antares did try and he broke some of the smoke, doesn't change the outcome, it seems. And now you've got a basher on the Ursa. So now Squadix has got to be even more careful when it comes to the Ursa threat in these team fights. There's a chance he may not get off a Rolling Thunder in the first place. Karatage is trying to do what he can. He can't actually go out on the map and farm, but he can send his illusions out there. That's kind of what he's been forced to settle upon. No one's just going to chip away at this tier 2 without too much backup around him. Entity can play this a lot more loose.
Don't want to commit yet for the high ground, though.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Looking at 2 minutes left.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And Watson coming back. That's also a pretty big signal here for VP.
Yeah, can you...
You could smoke out right now. I mean, this is a huge opening to take a fight without the Aegis Ursa. You still have this high ground ward here.
If you're gonna go, you gotta go now, though. Before Watson catches back up to the rest of his team.
Yeah,
they're rotating to Watson.
They're not gonna make it. Too close to hit. If that had been 10 seconds faster, you might have been able to get the latch. And now you just have to fight this Aegis with a minute and a half left.
I mean, being in position on the high ground is great for FNG, though, especially with Ursa already losing his first life. They can pop the Supernova, ready to go for the Ursa on the second life. This is looking very nice for Virtus.pro as the Ursa comes back into the Supernova stun. He's got his BKB in his range, but even the Primal Beast held his ultimate to try and control the Ursa. Now he's going to die, and this is still going to be a losing outcome in the end for Virtus.pro.
So many skeletons, what the hell?
Yeah, Fishman's just raising a whole ass army here. Squadix, he's trying to get away. Swashbuckle one more. It doesn't even go that far. He knows he's going to get run down. Just trying to clear the creep wave. Considering the situations of an Aegis, Cheese, it felt like an insurmountable team fight for Virtus.pro. They didn't do half bad with it.
That's the kind of setup they want. Again, it felt like that's the situation they want to be in, but it doesn't work out for them, which just begs the question of what needs to go better.
Yeah, if not now, then when?
And I mean, the answer really is like, you just can't have this Aegis Cheese, right?
Yeah.
But contesting that wasn't an option either. And this is where these entity lineups, they're tough to play against, man, because they put you in this position where they make you choose between two bad situations, and then you just have to massively outplay them at some point. And assuming entity doesn't screw up horribly, then these fights are probably favor them. Like, you need a catch on this Ursa or something with Orchid stun latching before he ults. That's just very difficult to do when the Lesh can frontline. So Entity continuing to power up here. Still have a cheese. They passed it over to the Ursa. No one continues to tank up here. I need some more damage here, your VP. You do get the Bloodthorn on the CK. So again, I mean, that single target connection, Desolator on the Pango as well. They really geared up for the single target burst, knowing they need some sort of threat here on the front line of Entity to get through the sustain. They will have it here.
Yeah, maybe the best option for all this Entity problems is just better initiation, right? I mean, if you get the Chaos Knight jump on the right target at the start of the fight,
oh yeah,
then,
of course, but that's, again, that's easier said than done because your lineup doesn't really have any initiation.
Well, he's going to go Blink Dagger next, I think.
I mean, right? I don't know. I don't know how easy it is for the CK to just blink in Bloodthorn stun. Like, this stun is not instant, you know? It's got some wind-up time. It's just, it's not the same as a Sven or Faceless Void or something. I mean, maybe you can find it, man. I don't know, but it sounds hard. You probably need vision. You need high ground ward. You need something where you see Entity first. Maybe you can go for that play. Even still, though, there's a lot of disruption that can come through. Let's say you jump in, you find the stun silence on Watson. What happens when you get this breaker who Ags charges through and has pretty low cooldown? There's a vacuum wall. There's a Leshrac who's just running in. There's going to be Chen heal to maybe bail this Ursa out, right? I mean, that's the scary part of this type of all-in single target burst versus the lineup right now. You not only need to find the opening, it's will it work? And if it doesn't, he's got cheese sitting there. So you better make sure that that single target jump bursts that hero down or you're in trouble. At least FNG will pick up a gem here, try and get some macro control back, and he'll find a D-ward for his trouble. Boost up his levels, which you know he wants this level 18 as fast as he can get it. He also loves some Deso charges here, but doesn't seem like there's any on the menu. Entity gearing up for the third Roshan. You got to be thinking about it here in 2 minutes plus. I don't think that's the one you can afford to give away in this game. I think you could definitely afford to give the first one away. I think the second one is tough, but you probably also are giving it up. Third, I don't think is an option here if you're Virtus.pro. I think that is a mandatory contest.
Is that a timing thing, or is that more so just about the extra refresher shard or Aghanim Scepter?
I mean, it's everything here, right? It's just going to be an overwhelming amount of high ground push. Too much sustain, too much HP to get through. I think it's just going to break you. And I don't think you're going to get to that ultra late game point. Double Shiva's also out for Entity right now.
Yeah,
so.
I was wondering which one of these two on Entity was going to blink on that item, but it seems neither. I thought maybe Darkseer would go like Lotus.
I mean, the armor's nice here. No one's going to get run into.
Has to pop his BKB. Kiritich, charge after the Phantasm is really well set up for Entity for Kiritich to die right away. Watson's going to chase him down pretty easily. DM is the one to actually claim the last hit. And again, once the Chaos Knight is said, even the Supernova successfully going off, it just doesn't matter. All your damage is gone on the side of Virtus.pro, and Entity is just going to clean up as many kills as possible. And thanks to that charge from Kataomi to hit FNG and charge through the rest of them, looks like they'll probably collect 4 off of this.
There's just not nearly enough damage. Entity are fully willing to just commit into the AoE terrorize, commit into an egg. It goes off. I mean, so what? We're all full HP. Good luck. And again, that points to the difficulty of the initiation for Virtus.pro.
Yeah.
You make a smoke play, you find this Leshrac, you throw out that Chaos Bolt, and the whole time that bolt is flying towards them in slow motion, you're wondering what the hell you're supposed to do in this game. You needed to play a lot faster. This Primal, I don't know, I think this Primal had to snowball a lot more. Like the early Pango game had to be swifter and executed better, right? That mid gank into the failed gank top really set him back off of what was a solid lane phase for Squad
absolutely.
X. And the second that happens, you're kind of just stuck in this stalemate of a mid game where the Chen's farming up, the Breaker Darkseer farming up, and you're going to end up in this position where the auras around that 30 to 40 minute mark are overwhelming. Still have one more fight left here, but you have no Supernova to work with. See where the damage can come from. So far,
yeah,
it's
the strike bouncing back into the Ursa, he just kills him. The Ursa just shreds the ball, and it's all over, man.
Dude, there's so many skeletons, too.
Yeah.
Fishman's just rallying the army here. Everybody has, like, an extra sacred relic for free. It adds up, man, and that is a well-executed game from Entity. I mean, this is their bread and butter. Like, they will take this type of draft, I think, for the rest of this tournament if they can get it. I think that's why the Chen is so terrifying, because 40-minute window with these types of lineups
I don't think it's good.
Well, I don't think you're good, Austin.
So that's fair enough. A lot of people feel that way.
It's gotten buffed.
Much like the carry Dragon Knight, many people feel like it's not good. Okay, it did get buffed. What did it get buffed on?
The cleave, like, radius width or something, right?
Okay.
I don't even know what did they actually change?
Well, you can't just say these things and then just not be able to back them up. All I see right now is 736B health regen decrease from 4 to 2.
No. It was the big patch where they increased. There was the patch after the big one. They increased the Fire Dragon, so the cleave is better than it used to be. The question is your ult enough damage to make this hero a carry? That's how I see it. Like, is the extra damage from your Dragon form enough with some late game build that it looks like, you know, Hurricane Pike, Mjolnir AC, Satanic, whatever, something in this category? Are you actually threatening heroes fast enough in the fight to sway the outcome? If you are, then I think it's perfectly viable, because I think he's a strong laner. He will farm decently fast. I mean, any hero with cleave is going to farm pretty fast. And he is a ranged carry, which ranged carries in fights can be pretty strong versus certain lineups. To me, I think this is a much more even draft. I agree with the panel. I think a lot of this game is going to come down to supports, honestly. I think you're looking at a lineup from Entity that isn't as ball favored, but more that team fight skirmish clash. And they're really trying to abuse what VP are relying on, which is some of the mobility in their heroes. Like, they started with this Breaker Darkseer, and the downside of these heroes is if you can purge off the Surge, if you can purge off the Bulldoze, slow these heroes down, they really suffer in the fight. You picked up a Shadow Demon and a Brewmaster to do that. and you're going to round it out with a puck coil to try and lock down the storm mobility. So Entity really want to limit how much VP can go in and out of these fights, play the long duration, play the map. That's what we're looking at, which is where I think these support matchups matter a lot, as we're going to see FNG bite the bullet first. And I was about to say, it's because, to me, because it's Kataomi, he has the best chance of snowballing this game for Envy. I think Weaver is still an incredibly fast hero. You can get really fast earn. You can deal a lot of early damage. And if the Weaver gets out ahead here and can put the pressure on this VP lineup with some supports that really want levels, you're feeding even more away to him now.
Yep. I mean, I was telling you, I felt like when I was playing Weaver support in this patch, it felt like the freest MMR to me. And I was actually a little bit surprised Shin-Q only put it in the A tier and not S tier.
Well, it did get nerfed a little.
Yeah, it did get nerfed a little bit, and you were right. The Red Dragon Knight did get buffed a little bit, and the C patch, they gave him 5% more cleave damage when he's in melee form.
That's just that dank right there.
Yeah, I'm sure that 5% will make a massive difference in his win rate.
Hey, you joke, but those one armor buffs.
Yeah, I think one armor is a lot more than 5% when you're in melee form. But
well, I mean, the thing about patches is you can look at some hero getting a buff like that, but maybe all his counters get nerfed, right? So
yeah, well, he's getting hit pretty hard right now.
But he survived because he's a Dragon Knight.
That
with no points in armor, so he's basically a normal hero.
Yeah, and he's 2 less regen.
He's tanky, and that's what counts.
Yeah. It'll take him a little bit longer to recover than old Dragon Knight, but we'll see how it goes. 0-1, Entity up just a tad bit here. I guess this really is going to be a bit of the battle of the fours, because the panel was also talking about how Antares is well set up to be able to protect the egg because they don't have that many charge cancels, right? They have ways to control the Spirit Breaker in that they have Shadow Demon with his, but when it comes to that initial charge on through to be able to like help protect the egg, he can make some moves.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a battle of the fours. I think the Spirit Breaker and the Weaver are really going to determine how these team fights go, because if the Weaver can put pressure on the supports early and set the fight up for the cores to come in with a big bug coming through, giving the Sven extra damage, giving the Puck some extra damage, that's huge for Envy. That's maybe the biggest factor in the team fight. And on the flip side, VP, this Breaker can really disrupt the Sven. It's one of the worst heroes in terms of supports for Sven to fight into, honestly, as the game goes later, because the charge through the ult, all of it goes through your BKB duration, and it all messes with you. It's really annoying, right? If you get to like Ag Spirit Breaker this game, it just seems like a nightmare for the Sven to go in the fight and actually have impact. And that's generally how the hero can suffer. So yeah, Shell on top of all of that, this Breaker could get really big, and he could be a big threat to the Weaver as well. So I'm going to really look towards both these fours to dictate the team fight, the skirmishing, and maybe whichever one gets out to a faster start could just take this game over. Yeah, for their respective teams. Looking at that like 10 to 20 minute mark. Another courier death. Please. Please.
Nothing triggered. Oh, okay. Okay. To be fair, I know, courier feeding is your trigger, but it's a Weaver. There's very little you could do about it when it comes to this guy sniping couriers. He gets a double hit.
I disagree. I think there's a lot you can do about it.
Okay.
You can be like, hey guys, he killed the first courier. He probably has a ward. Let's not run it the exact same way, and he's been off lane for 15 seconds. I think he's just AFK jungling, guys. Don't worry, it's safe to go. Like, I'm telling you, these pro players, look, I will stand by this forever. These pro players, they just click the button to send. They don't think about it. It's almost like they're willing to live with it, It's some agreed upon pact in the entire pro scene of Dota2, where we're all just gonna send our couriers out, and whatever happens, it happens. That's fair game. It's out of my control.
And the random Monkey King and Weaver supports of the world are the ones who benefit from our combined lethargy.
I mean, you really have to kill like 6 or 7 couriers before a team does anything about it.
Yeah.
You ever notice that? That's what I'm saying, man. Apathy or something, I don't know.
The apathy of the Dota 2 player base.
Just unwilling to micro this unit. Maybe they need to make couriers like Spirit Wolves. Just remove the micro.
Do they automatically perform evasive maneuvers when an enemy hero gets close by?
I mean, that's what everybody wants, right? To make Dota 2 easier to play.
That's what I've heard.
Still looking at a pretty strong laning phase once again for Virtus.pro, and once again on that mid lane for Squad X, building up a nice little lead here in a similar position with another mid hero that can make moves or you can gank for. He kind of has those options open, particularly looking at that 6-minute power rune. This is a big rune for him to get with the lead he's got, but there's no help here, and he's going to have to concede probably both sides.
Yeah, the puck's going to beat him out to that other one, so.
Not the greatest rune, so maybe not the biggest difference, but again, not what he's looking for in this early game in terms of maybe some extra galvanized stacks or starting that snowball up. Still, it's another very farm Darkseer. We saw how much work that did for Entity last time around, so this time VP are going to have some auras on their side with fast mech to back up their team fight even more.
I mean, with the carry Dragonite, you're probably looking at similar timings, right? Maybe the composition of your lineup is different, but it's got to be a similar window you're trying to hit.
Got the disruption on the Surge. That was their last stun.
That was indeed.
Just TP.
You can successfully count to 2. Good work. Oh, but they're going to try and go for the Wisdom Rune. Uh-oh. Noticed. He might be giving away the kill and the Wisdom Rune as no one made the rotation over. The wall's going to be used. Squad X is going to try and intercept, though, and he does manage to get it. Grabs the Wisdom Rune. He'll get the kill on Fishman most likely. TP attempted. Damage comes out too quick, though. Squad X gets that kill. A very good counter rotation from Virtus.pro. Nice little heads up that they knew this one was coming.
That was a really nice move. That was going to be a terrible sequence for VP. I think they lose the Darkseer and the Rune.
Yeah.
Squad X doesn't make that heads up rotation. Instead, he gets rewarded with some stacks. The Fishman kill to lead off Entity's charge here. Coming to Classic at this point, and still looking like a strong laning phase for VP. It was not their issue in that first game. They did quite well in the lanes. It was just the transition after that was very clunky, particularly snowballing that mid. And I think it's another game where you have to play through the storm here. If you don't play through the storm and start to snowball, he's going to be the one just getting ganked off of the coil, which is what Entity want to do here. Right on point, they're going to bring Watson in, man.
Look at this rotation. Charge, maybe he could save him. The coil's going to run on a second. Can he get the leap away? No, he commits for the kill on the Kataomi. Does manage to get that one. Watson underneath the tower is also going to die. They lost the Storm Spirit, but the outcome might be good for Virtus.pro. They're going to lose FNG here, but Kiritich is here to be able to fight. DM has his ultimate, though. He's going to pop that one. Notice on the run being targeted with the double damage onto no one. They certainly have the damage to bring down this Darkseer, and they've got the control from the Brewmaster ultimate. So, never mind. Swings the way of Entity with them just bringing all 5 heroes to the mid lane to be able to take the team fight.
Overcommitting on that Brew. There's no way you're bursting him there, and that ult is absolutely turning that fight. Do get the Watson kill off the rotation, so it's going to slow down the Sven's game. We saw Watson make that move in game 1 as well. Very happy to join these early fights, but man, when they don't go your way, they're expensive because now you have to walk back out on the map. You're not going to join anything for a while.
I feel like that's such a
this is aggressive play.
Game in Gladiators and Liquid move. Nice stomp. Wait.
I mean, yeah, it was nice.
Good work to the neutrals. Good work, everybody. I was thinking of Chen last game.
So far, after that kill, it's Breaker taking the lead here over the Weaver. And I did say, whichever 4 gets out here faster, I'm going to favor that team.
Yeah.
So I'm liking VP's odds right now. I think they have the mid that's snowballing a little bit more. They have the 4 position that's snowballing a lot more with the favorable 4-on-4 matchups.
Do you like the triple blood grenade on FNG?
You know what? I was actually stacking these a bit in some of the random pubs I was playing. I don't think it's too bad because there's something people just don't buy them as much as they used to.
Yeah.
So you get them on the 5, like I found that you're getting them on the 5 position more on average than you used to. And if you don't have early item slots filled, they're pretty efficient for just HP. I actually don't mind it. Now, obviously, maybe he wishes his game was a bit better and he was like filling those slots with Wand or Windlace or whatever, but you know, sometimes you gotta get the job done.
I mean, that is 150 health. Charge away, but that final hit with the bug on him.
Nah, he's fine.
Yeah, just walk it off.
I mean, he did walk it off.
Pickoffs on supports all over the place. Difference is Squad X, whenever he gets a kill, far more valuable.
Oh, yeah. And that's a regen rune running too.
As long as he doesn't die for it.
Kind of oil here.
Surrounded by heroes. Committing once again. The
not a burst
Brewmaster
play.
with the primal split ready to go. We can pop it whenever. It's going to pop it now. Supernova goes out with the Sven right next to it. They can commit. No one jumps in, and they get the egg ever so barely. They do manage to get it. Lost the Sven's life for it, though. And an orb on through with Vacuum on top of the puck. The puck barely gets the jaunt away. Squadix is close. They give him a surge. It instantly gets dispelled, but never mind. Anticlimactic as Arntaris had the charge all the way through to be able to finish him off.
Lucky to get out with who they did, as that breaker was looking for the nether strike, but a nice clutch stun out of Kiritich here really ends up sealing the puck's fate, and more kills for SquadX as he continues to snowball. We're seeing how tough it is to kill this egg in the early game with the stuns around it, and I mean, the Brewmaster suffers here. He's not contributing to that egg kill at all. So it's another early death for Watson, as not only is it early in the game, he dies early in the fight, so he doesn't even get any XP really out of this. And right back into the action, they're pushing with the Dragon Knight. That is what the carry DK can give you.
That's absolutely right. And they use
This
the
is
aggression
spiraling.
of Storm Spirit plus Spirit Breaker. They have a lot of reach to be able to catch these heroes when they're just a little bit out of position.
And the breaker is really dictating the pace right now, and that fast Orchid for SquadX off all the early snowball. 4-1 and 3, enemy tower down. He's going to get 12-minute power rune. It's a haste here as well. He is living the life, and he is a huge threat on the map right now. If he has resources, it's just a guaranteed kill. There's no control in terms of locking him down long enough for the damage to come through right now on the side of enemy. Yeah, you can coil this Storm, but I mean, what are you doing during that coil? Not nearly enough right now. And Watson, he tried to join these early fights, did not go well for him. He's far behind. The Weaver's falling behind right now. The blood grenades are up on FNG. You're in a bit of trouble here if you're Entity. Got to slow things down right now. Get to some items on your heroes. And you don't want to fall too far behind on XP because, I mean, you need Brewmaster ulti. Not super fast this game, but
They just keep on getting the pickoffs on the supports. The Sven underneath the coil can't commit for the kill. So Squadix is going to be fine. Protected by the Supernova. Entity are the ones to have to blink first, as they continue to have to do in these clashes in the mid lane. The first one went well for them, but subsequent ones, not so much.
That's what I'm saying. You can coil this Storm, but the only real damage that's going to go into him is Sven manning up. And if Watson's not confident enough to do that, which he probably shouldn't be at this point. Tough to fight. And the Orchid
How many
straight
times
in.
is poor Shadow Demon going to die, man?
Well, it's Fishman, so probably 6 or 7 more.
I mean, that's not even his fault, though. Come
Yeah,
on,
that's
man. He's just TP's the tier 2. They're just picking on him. They're bullying
Even
him.
gave him a smiley face.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
Oh, man. Well, more galvanized stacks for Squadix. That's what he sees out of that.
It's up to 10, and he's about to get second point and ball lightning here.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the definition of snowballing right now. And you know, the whole time this is happening, your carry Dragon Knight, he's cleaving through the jungle. The armlets up, pushing towards that BKB. He's looking strong, man. There's a lot of HP to get through for their lineup that doesn't have a lot of flat magical burst, so you're kind of looking at the Sven just manning up and hitting him, but not the greatest target for Sven to man up on.
DM, they didn't have the control for you before, but with an Orchid, it's very easy now. This kill is free. A 5,000 net worth lead for Virtus.pro. Just taking all of the wind out of the sails of Entity.
They're in
who
trouble.
Took that game 1 victory, and they had it in their hands pretty well, but this game 2 is just completely slipped out of it.
They're going to have to rat this map out a bit. Get to the Yules on the puck. That's going to be pretty big here. About 800 off that one. And get to something on this Weaver, man, because I don't know what Katayomi's doing in the fight other than like, I threw a bug, guys, and good luck. He just has no pressure of his own right now. He's also going Yules on the Weaver. So no early earn for him, no really aggressive build up here. Just going to be more disruption, more control for the Breaker and the Darks here, but it doesn't feel like you need more of that, right? It feels like you need some more damage here. Some more threat, ways to start the fights. Or you can just split push and scale, I guess is the other option. We have seen ND play that style a bit when they fall behind. We've seen them split push the map with particularly these puck lineups. I would say the puck and the Leshrac for no one have been the 2 biggest heroes in terms of stalling out games for them and then hitting some like way later game power spike. So I guess that's still in the cards, but generally not how Sven wins games. You're kind of at odds with yourself here. And I think the pickoffs are just going to keep rolling from Ski. That's the hard part. Like, can you split push this map against Spirit Breaker, Storm? That Darkseer is going to shove in all your waves. Cleave Dragon Knight with the extra cleave damage thanks to C-Patch is just going to push in all your waves. I mean, doesn't seem like a good strategy against this lineup.
Sven just can't stand up to that extra 5% cleave.
I mean, this cleave's nasty, man.
Yeah, I think that's the really hard part, is that Weaver, one of the best things it does for you, right, is super good at cutting waves. But they have Spirit Breaker and a Storm Spirit who has been popped off with an Orchid very early on. Like, that, you just won't be able to do that.
I think the Spirit Breaker pick was just really, really good.
As good as it was in game 1.
I think it's better this game, honestly.
Pulling in the Phoenix, but
fight.
FNG is decently healthy still, even with that purge that's going to go off. He'll be still on plenty of HP. Nobody on Entity can commit. And they continue to struggle to find any openings here against Virtus.pro.
Just Orchid pick-off after Orchid pick-off. Heroes just don't have the survivability. You got to the Eagles on the puck, but everybody else is still suffering. This is going to be a pretty fast Shadow Blade for the Breaker here. Vessel already done on the Phoenix. Even more damage to throw in the mix. Man, these fights are tough. And that's why this Breaker's so good this game, because he gives you the pickoff, he plays the Darkseer, he threatens the map. But then if you commit to 5v5s like this, there's no way Watson can go in the fight. Like, you're just going to egg, have this ult threat, maybe he gets hit by a charge, and then his fight's over.
Yeah.
So this Breaker, he's winning you the map, and he's winning you the team fights right now. Everything is just playing through Antares and Squad X here, and they are really making this game difficult for Entity to find some footing.
And you said in that game 1, the Ursa BKB timing was a very big window where you were going to be able to push the pace quite a bit. You feel like the same's going to be here for the Dragon Knight, who now has his BKB. Coil on the Storm. Antares intercepts with the Nether Strike, but it's not enough. The disable lasts just long enough. They can't get the Storm Spirit out of here, but they can still take the fight afterwards. The Storm Spirit is not the only threat in Virtus.pro's side.
And just line that puck up. No chance for a phase shift out of there. And happy to take that fight with the BKB already done on this Dragon Knight. Dude, this hero's looked pretty solid, man. I don't know. You guys were memeing on this hero, but I'm looking at this DK right now. He's got 2,700 HP. He's hitting for 300 a pop. This armlet buildup's pretty nice. Entity will find their catch. It just takes so long to commit in, and honestly, they played the stuns pretty well here to draw this out as long as possible.
Yeah.
To get them something on the backside. If that Grease from the Darkseer comes through, that Storm even lives there. Second you're backed into that charge, it's GG, and that's Roche. For the Storm.
They wait it out so Squad X can pick up the Aegis. They certainly don't need one on the Dragon Knight.
No way. He is insanely beefy here. And just going straight Blink Bloodthorn, yeah. I like it, man. You're not really getting threatened this game. Feels like if they try and go on Kiritich, that fight's going to be even harder. Not the target you want to jump first. So much armor.
And Shadowblade now done for the Spirit Breaker as well, so just adding even more to the effectiveness of his charges in team fights, but also the pickoffs that we're going to see sometimes on the Weaver, maybe sometimes on the puck. If they dare to split push at all, which they're kind of in a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario, where you're going to die if you split push, but if you don't split push, this Dragon Knight and all the power he has behind him is just going to start mowing down some towers. Chain's done into a zip across the river from Squad X. They have the Yules, but he's just going to come right back down into some serious heat. Locks down the Storm Spirit with the coil, but clipped on the wall, pulled back in by the vacuum. Notice, gets his.
I mean, that is a beautiful wall play right there. Like, cannot get much better than that. Right on the edge. Guess you have vision to help you out. That's definitely nice, but again, these puck kills add up because that's your game staller. That's your hero that's supposed to be out on the waves, pushing deep, making you come back, making you try and catch him. You don't get the kill, you waste a bunch of time, then Entity can farm with the map with their Sven, try and get Watson out on the map. So right now, they're struggling to get deep on the side of Virtus.pro or find some sort of lane cutting. Again, right, you get Watson here, and then he's too afraid he has to go back to clean up some waves. We'll get a Wisdom Rune. That is a win, for sure. These are the types of plays you're looking for.
The rest of his team going to take the Tormentor while he's playing on that other side. They'll get the Shard for FNG. So they're going to take double Tormentors, basically, for Virtus.pro, which will give them a much larger net worth advantage. They take this tier 2 as well, loosen the hold Entity has over this Ancients, so the Sven's just going to have a lot less to be able to farm with.
Pipe is done. We saw the power of this pipe on the Darkseer in that game 1. You're going to try and turn the tides, throw back Entity's way. Now they have the stronger 5-man in terms of the team fight spell power, team fight item power, and the Aegis's. Everything is flipped here, and 10k lead. Just keep pushing, man. Push behind this Dragon Knight. No real threat on him. Yeah, you could toss him up, but even then, do you feel great about that fight? It's like you need BKB on Sven here to really engage, and you're still 1,500 or so off here for Watson, man. His early game was just so slow. And he has lost Ancient control as well. Not going to help. It's happening. Charge coming through on no one. See if they can connect here in time. This is a tough kill.
Yeah, unfortunately, he does phase shift that orb because, you know, constant problem of a charged Invis Spirit Breaker. And Tari's recognizes that and says, okay, he at that time got a little bit too down pat. He did have vision of me charging across.
Heads up D-ward. And every time you find those little wards, makes no one's life harder.
Yep.
Entity continuing to try and rat this game out, find something here. They are bleeding out towers right now. Losing net worth lead. This has been a pretty productive Aegis period. Virtus.pro, they got to the BKB on the Storm, so couldn't kill him during this 5-minute interval. Now it's going to be almost impossible. Your coil's useless. You have no other control mechanism. I mean, you got to land a Sven stun on this guy. Yeah, good luck with that one.
Yeah. It is going to be a long, long while until Entity feel like they have control over that hero again. So long that it might be another like 10 levels on the puck. You might need to have that level 25 talent before you start feeling good about this matchup again.
Yeah, I don't think there is anything else in their lineup.
Yeah.
No one's really going to build a Hex here. I mean, you could get one ultra late on the puck or something, but that feels like Squad X. He got the early game he was looking for, and he's just cruising right now. 16 galvanized stacks.
Use of that Aegis went pretty well for Virtus.pro. Got a nice little 3,000 net worth bumper, so now up to 10k net worth lead over Entity. And positions where they probably could go high ground if you want to, but usually the play at this point is just control the map, wait for a second Aegis, and then you can go high ground.
So Entity did hit their BKB on this Sven. This is their window to try and take something back on the map. They immediately smoked with it, but the lanes are just atrocious right now for them.
Yeah. This feels fairly obvious. They do run into the Spirit Breaker, though.
I mean, this is just it's a neutral move, right? God Strength and your BKB timing off a smoke out of base for a breaker, and you're just going to have to go back and push the lanes in. Not getting anything else off this. I mean, it's something, but it's... I don't think VP are too sad about what's happening right now. This DK is continuing to scale up, man. Almost to level 3 ult form here, working towards the Bloodthorn, and his damage is just going to escalate out of control if he gets to that point. I mean, Kiritich is going to shred this Sven.
Fishman, just a walking galvanized stack.
Yeah, he's trying to find these wards.
Yeah.
But they've had some deep lane wards on the side of VP, also helping their pickoff game a lot.
They also have a gem that they're carrying with them, so it's making sure that Fishman doesn't sneak any wards out there.
Part of the power of Darkseer, since this hero was put into Dota 2, man. The Ghost lane shove is just always gives you so much information. Always forces people to respond, means you can link up faster.
What is Ghost lane shove?
I mean, it means he's shoving the lane, he's not there, he's a ghost. I didn't coin these terms.
I am just asking, so, you know, there's guaranteed one person who has no idea, has never heard that term.
Who did coin that term? That was like a TI6 term or something.
Yeah, I mean, lane shove was coming into the vernacular. And then ghost lane shove is just when you're able to push the lane without actually being there.
Yeah, I feel like most terms like that are either Bulba or Eternal Envy. At least for I heard them. They probably stole them from other people, so.
True.
Yeah, we'll just give credit to Puppy. Good job, Puppy.
Man ahead of his time. That's how we made it to TI7.
I like giving credit to Puppy, you know, it's easy.
Yeah.
Like, he's been around for 15 years. He probably did it at some point.
Yeah.
And then when you see him on land, it's like he's not as threatening, you know. Like, hey, man, I was hyping you up.
I mean, they say Dota is circular, right? It always comes back to the same things. Yeah, maybe Bulba came up with that concept in 2016, but Puppy came up with it in 2012.
Yeah,
so.
he came up with it so long ago he forgot he came up with it. Came up with it again.
Had a little deja vu when it was brought up to him. Now, wait a minute. I've seen this before. Daedalus is a must-have for Watson because they have a damage problem. Even if you, like the BKB, I feel like you get the BKB, but what are you hitting? You're probably not killing the Storm Spirit or the Dragonite. I don't know if you're killing the Darkseer. The supports are maybe easy. The supports are certainly easy pickoffs for Virtus.pro, that's for sure.
I mean, a big swarm would help, for sure. I just don't know how much you can guarantee on those bugs surviving. And this Bloodthorn is coming out fast, man. I think you could even go AC in a game like this, where you have enough damage on your own side. 5 beetles. Are they actually beetles? I never thought of it. Like lore-wise, are they actually beetles? Is that correct? I don't know. I'm 50-50 on that. What are they? Does it say in the...
I'm fairly certain he refers to himself as a beetle.
Is he a beetle?
Second
they are
ages
beetles.
for Virtus.pro.
Wait, that means Weaver's a beetle.
Yeah.
Is under attack.
I thought it was an arachnid. I guess he is not an arachnid. He doesn't have 8 legs. Okay, well, I'm dumb.
A beetle is an insect of a large order distinguished by having 4 wings that are typically modified into hard wing cases, which he does have. He flaps those little wings around when he does his taunt, which cover and protect the hind wings and abdomen.
Yeah, that sounds like a beetle. It doesn't look like a beetle. But if you alt-click the spell, it does actually say beetle. Look, it says beetles are spell immune. So Valve actually thought about this, which is insane to me. That's actually insane if you think about it.
Are you
a company known for not putting information in their toolkits was like, you know what? Here you go. Have some lore.
You know why though? Somebody at Valve is a bug guy. That's why. Somebody has like pinned.
Well, yeah,
bugs.
that's why Meepo got removed. There's definitely a bug guy at Valve. I'll tell you, he hasn't been doing his job lately. That's all I'll say about that one. As Kiritich is going to push the base here, he's got a cheese. That Bloodthorn is finished. He even got the quiver for some extra attack range and damage here. He's looking to feast.
Lincoln's, but they can go for the Shadow Demon instead. And still got the vacuum, still got the Orchid, still got the puck kill.
Silence number 2.
The Cleave started doing a little bit of work. It almost looked good for a second there for Watson.
Oh, those Brewlings are gone.
Were those Brewlings? I thought those were beetles.
I mean, they got shredded like beetles here because that Dragon Knight cleave, no joke. It's the real deal. I mean, this was just not even a game, right? This is just a slaughter. Very one-sided exchange from VP as they finally took advantage of Squad X winning that mid lane, and they snowballed him real well. 25 galvanized stacks here. I don't think Entity really took any sort of real team play in this game at all.
Yeah, I felt like what I learned out of this is that put Squadix on a hero that like snowballs more, right? Like Pango doesn't do the same kind of damage output as he used to, right?
He's not a snowball hero anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, he can. I mean, any mid can snowball, but his damage is not the part that snowballs.
Yeah.
It's his annoying tank ability in the team fight. So I agree. Squadix, he's the biggest killer on this team, and if you can put him in a position where he can control the map or pick people off and gain a damage ramp, I think VP feel the best.
Oh, Watson's really out here, huh? Just desperation push down the lane and hope nobody comes back, but there's a Storm Spirit and a Spirit Breaker.
Man, that Spirit Breaker pick just decimated any plans that he had this game.
Yeah, that was the other thing I
really
took
did.
from this game. Darkseer, Spirit Breaker is a pretty good combo.
It's strong.
Dragonite just charges in. Not really caring too much about his own life because they really cannot threaten him. Especially Watson dead. Watson coming back in with the God Strength. Goes for the kill onto the Darkseer. Does manage to get that one. But what about the Dragonite? Yeah, he doesn't want that. He wants none of that smoke. Does not challenge the Dragonite. Backs off. They still have the Aegis on the Storm Spirit, so even that's a kind of a hard hero to commit to. They jump for it. No one does manage to take away that Aegis. The second life, though. Yeah, but he stuns for Watson. Watson just kind of goes for some cleave hits off the creeps. That's all they can do.
Just more beetles to farm. You're on target. Kill your beetle, man. I think it's worth some gold.
Waits for the range creep to queue it up. 33.
Yeah, he'll be in the tournament later on, but for now, some decent gold for VP.
Be in the double digits of Beetles killed, I believe now.
Nope,
wait.
Incorrect.
Missed one. I was thinking about those Brewlings earlier, you know.
I mean, that's a buyback for Watson that does what?
Kept the game going.
It's true. Is that even good for Entity at this point?
I don't think it is. No, I think you would probably rather just go next.
To get to the Gleipnir on the Weaver. Something, I guess.
Yeah, is he using the passive aspect of that Gleipnir in this game? Do you think he's actually going to get
Probably
a
not.
passive hit on a hero?
I think there's something about Brewmaster for me where you can end up in these games, you fall a little behind on the hero and he just feels useless.
Yeah, where it's like you're supposed to be this overwhelming team fight, but then like the scales tip a little bit too far and you're just nothing in the team fight.
Yeah, his ult, it doesn't feel like a good recovery spell anymore. I think in the past it did. You could be poor on Brew, your team could be behind, but you pop this ult and it had some staying power and you could maybe take that comeback fight. I feel like nowadays the damage ramps up so fast on some of these cores. Like you're just dead in 3 seconds. Like, okay, nice ult. There's your comeback mechanism. It doesn't feel the same to me, which I think pushes the Brewmaster as a hero to be more reliable on his laning stage and how fast he can get an item like Radiance up. How fast he can get an early Aura item up. And kind of scale off the itemization and as a third core.
Yeah.
So when you fall behind on this hero and you're in this type of position like DM is, I just don't think you really do anything. Like, you can push out lanes, but I don't think you're going to ever catch up enough to be a scaling threat, and you're not tanky enough to survive the fight. The Gleipnir goes out, but this fight already looks hard.
Yeah, with a Supernova there on the side, Watson cannot commit for the kill onto the Dragonite. He never can. There's always too much backup there. And with him dead,
Yeah,
just like in game one for Virtus.pro, it's like the
That'll do it.
carry's dead, the damage is all gone. The game is probably done. Yeah, GG called.
I mean, that's Sven's Spirit Breaker. That's why I was trying to highlight these two fours, because I think if Spirit Breaker has a game like this, there's no way Watson can play any of the fights. Because you have no other way to really start on the Breaker. That's the problem with that hero. He can just hide in the back this game. Doesn't have to do anything in the fight. Just waits for the Sven. The second the Sven comes in, you're just charging